Hello, my friends. Hope you guys are doing good. As you read in the title, or as you may already have noticed in the title, I'm going to be doing some homework in the background. I might pause the video and do my inputs here and there, but I don't want to bore you with the kind of stuff that I'm doing, and I figured it'd be a fun little stream. And as I was just scrolling through videos to watch, I stumbled upon this one, so I figured, why the hell not, man? We all love our snaggletooth chicken leg, patchy beard individual, LTG, and this is called Low Tier God, Rage, Regret, and Reform. Alright, let's do it. Let's see how this one turns out.
Universal Technical Institutes.
Alright, let's go. This video is made for commentary purposes, not to incite harassment. Please do not harass anyone mentioned in this video. Thank you. So it's okay if he harasses everybody else, but he can't be harassed? Understandable.
Tier God.
Your life is as valuable as a summer ant.
You ain't talented. I'm talented. We could all submit flags and kill that dude's channel.
He's a terrible person.
Low Tier God. An actor, streamer, and true online provocateur, boasting impressive verbal acumen and calm, competitive demeanor.
Any in here that thinks that skill, tell me, and I'm banning your ass.
Go outside, throw some steaks in a fucking alley, and hope that a bunch of stray dogs come and just start chewing your fucking dick off, biting pieces off of you and shit like that.
He has many different brands. On IMDb, you will find that he owns some very flattering trademarks, being listed as thin legs, mouth.
What? Oh, hold on. Wait, what? On IMBD. Okay. So he got thin legs or chicken legs. Alright. Malformed teeth. I mean, yeah, that snaggletooth says otherwise. Like, bro, how can you be making so much money, according to you, so much bank, but you can't go and get that snaggletooth fixed? Number one. Number two, those chicken legs, man. You cannot skip leg day, mijo. You gotta work hard at legs, too. You can't just focus on the upper body. You gotta focus the whole body, man. You're working out your whole body, not just one side, not just another side. You know, you ever take a look at how sculptures are done? Every part is tuned, right? Just looking at this right now, I just noticed this right here. Drink my urine. What? But anyway, you know, if you're going to be sculpting yourself, you know, you're going to be working out, trying to sculpt your body, you want to do it evenly, bro. Not just, you know, the upper body, but you got to focus on the legs too, man, or else you get chicken legs. Large bottom lip, I mean...
Malformed teeth and large bottom lip, as well as looks like ball.
Yeah, I mean, if he was missing a tooth, he'd definitely look like Balrog for sure.
Rog, and prefers to urinate in bottles and defecate in shower.
You know, okay, look, I guess in his world, I've never seen a god or heard of a god-like being portrayed with having these trademarks here, right? Chicken legs, malformed teeth, large bottom lip, looks like Balrog from Street Fighter, and prefers to urinate in bottles and defecate in the shower. Now tell me, have you ever heard of any godlike creature or any godlike entity doing something like that? No? Well, this is a first, because my goodness, I've never heard about this. This is absolutely insane. But then again, we probably wouldn't be able to understand, you know, because LTG is way above us. We're what does he call them? Peons or something like that. Of course, it has to have the word P in it, but you know. Anyway, let's continue.
To people he meets in the street, he is the "you should kill yourself" guy.
Then maybe these days, I guess, it's more so, oh shit, you're the you should kill yourself guy.
And to many across the internet, he is
That's wonderful. Imagine not being known as being LTG anymore, but rather the guy that constantly just says you should kill yourself now. Like, so then you should just rebrand yourself, mijo. Rebrand yourself for being LTG to, like, capitalizing on that, which, I mean, I don't know how you'd be able to do that, but I'm pretty sure you'd find a way. And then, you know, I'm pretty sure because of that, like, think about this for a sec, right? You got famous because of how you rage, right? And people want to see that. People want to see more of that. So if you were to capitalize on that, instead of being LTG, you become something completely different now. And you're able to be more annoying, you know, granted, you try to work with you know, Twitch TOS or wherever, YouTube OS, whatever the fuck you're using, or whatever you're streaming on. But you adhere to that specific audience that wants to see that, right? And then you slowly up it. Not to the point where it gets crazy and out of control, no. I mean, you should also be able to lack the self-awareness to see exactly where you are in terms of how you go and, like, you know, commit all these freaking meltdowns that you have. I guess in your case, they'd be moments of entertainment. Because from what I've seen, I could say the same shit, right? Your shit's boring, my shit's boring. Everybody's stream's usually boring unless you're extremely entertaining. But in a way, you found that niche and now it's starting to really die down. Anyway, let's keep going.
a Lolcow and very
Sorry, it's died down to the point where nobody really, I guess, in a way, now when you run into people in person, they know you as the you should kill yourself guy, not really LTG anymore. So that's where I was going with that argument. But let's keep going.
veritable
Yourself guy. These days, I guess, it's more so, oh shit, you're the you should kill yourself guy.
And to many across the internet, he is a lolcow and veritable stream of content. Though recently he has taken up a more positive attitude in streams, and his antics seem to have died down a bit. However, after a history of streaming fighting games, and an eventual transition into other activities, and being banned repeatedly by Twitch for his provocative tendencies, Low Tier God has cultivated quite a reputation for himself. His rage quits,
It's the same old fucking shit.
his need to read every single chat message and assert his dominance,
And he feels it in his ass crack. And he takes it and he looks. And it's highlighted green matrix juice, you bitch ass nigga. Don't ever ask me to tell you a motherfucking story again.
his tirades lambasting the special few who attract his ire,
Somebody like you deserves to be hit in the street by a fucking moving bus. It's people like your ass that doesn't deserve to live.
and his need to constantly remind everyone that he's doing well, despite some evidence to the contrary, have given many of his viewers the impression that he has a very large and very fragile ego. And even some seemingly genuine moments are mired with doubts that he is hiding his real toxic self. His online demeanor has sparked countless clipping channels, trolls.
Well, yeah, of course. That's because with how insecure he is and how he lets every little tiny thing get to him. At first, it was funny, right? Because he would make jokes about it. He would do, you know, he'd make something out of it, right? But then it started really hitting home after a while. I feel like that's why he's really insecure about his age, too. Like, bro, just tell, you know, what? You're 40 years old, man. That's reality. You're a 40-year-old man who, you know, I guess in a way is stuck. And that's okay because a lot of people are also stuck in life. But unfortunately, you know, I don't think many people can really relate to you because of, well, we'll be watching more of as to why. Let's keep going.
And genuine detractors determined to not let anything slip past. And he has truly always been a white-hot beam of content. Over the years, he has gotten himself into countless controversies, concerning his remarks about disabilities, transgenders, women, including his girlfriends, black people, and many of his own.
That's it. There you go. See, that's exactly why. You have so much hate in your heart of yourself that you just start projecting it towards others because you hate yourself that much. That's really sad, man. That really is fucking sad. Let's keep going, shall we?
Fans who fit into any of those demographics, as well as encouraging suicide, which of course includes the most well-known clip of his career.
Your life is
Jolly.
you serve
One.
purpose. You should
Celebrate Christmas now.
He has shown himself to be extremely short-tempered and full of himself, hypocritical,
This is a video game.
What's up with the DPs and neutral that ain't f***ing X?
This is a video game, yet look at all this shit he's trying to pull off on Viscount, dude, and Viscount just holds his fucking ground. Like, there's no reason, absolutely zero reason to be afraid of LTG. He is not going to do anything. He is extremely... What was I going to say? Oh, awkward could be one of them too, in person. But then again, I've never met him in real life. But knowing and seeing how he acts in person also gives off that vibe that he has extremely low self-confidence. Except for when he's streaming and he's showing you that kind of persona. Because he is in control. Because when he is in his little world, in his little universe, away from actually socializing with people and being in the real world, he can just crawl back to his safe space. And in that safe space, you know, he's low tier god. But in reality, in person, he's just Dale Wilson. That's the reality of it. But for him, it's very hard to either come to terms with or accept it. Because I don't really think he has that much positivity or positive things to look back onto on his... I don't know how long he's been like doing this shit for, I guess a decade now. 10 years. To look back and see where he was to where he is now. And this goes pretty much with every Lolcow out there, right? They got famous one way or another through positive or negative interactions. But they failed to do something with that audience. They either, well, not either, most of the time, if anything, really all the time, they end up screwing things up for themselves via their own actions. And instead of focusing on those negative traits about yourself, and by that I mean focusing on them and finding a way to get help to help you better manage or cope or manage or help you cope with those stressors that you have in your life and turn things upside down. People love that shit, man. Because not only does it show that you are maturing in a way that you are understanding your own negative traits and your own negative fallacies within yourself, that you are going through and putting an effort into changing that for the better. And people love seeing that shit, man. Especially when you're somebody who's, well, I'd say this, people love this in a way that you redeem yourself, right, from all your wrongdoings that you've done in the past. For instance, I don't even think it's going to be possible anymore, to be honest. Wings of Redemption. He's a big example of it. Somebody who has had the interactions, somebody who's had the fan base, somebody who's had people who really went out of their way to help him in any way that he could to achieve his goals, like Woody and FPS Kyle, and pretty much everybody from PKA. Right? Kyle didn't have to do any of that shit for you, Wings. And I wonder if he's ever going to be listening to this. Probably not, but anyway. He didn't have to go and modify his bathroom and his bathtub just so you could fit in it. But I hope maybe within, I don't know, the following year or something, maybe you have some time to really reflect on that friendship that you had. Because that is a true friend right there, man. Somebody who goes to such an extreme, and by extreme, I mean, yeah, modifying something for the sake of helping somebody else in order for you to achieve your goal, which was extremely doable, by the way. You might think that you're not making any progress, but at least you were putting an effort into it, right? And those little small efforts, you take it day by day, especially when it comes to this, man. You're not going to expect instant results. It comes by slowly and gradually. And the more you apply it, the more it eventually becomes a habit to the point where you don't even think about it when you're doing it. But it's a feel-good thing, right? Exercise is always good for you. Sitting around and lounging all day and doing absolutely nothing but playing video games, I used to do that shit, and it was fucking horrible. And what did I do? I went up and got my ass out of this, getting a job, but you can't. And that's another thing too about Wings, right? Is that he constantly focuses on the negative so goddamn much that he just refuses to do anything about it. People tell him, go get a job. Hey, it's better than sitting at home and fucking begging people to donate to you. No, he has an excuse for every fucking thing, dude. And that's the problem. Is that, and when it really comes down to it too, that job that he had a long time ago with Met Glass, that shit doesn't fucking matter anymore. Because one, when you were out of that job that was paying you exceptionally well, what you should have done is, instead of focusing on being a full-time streamer or full-time, video creator, you should have at least tried to find yourself something part-time to keep some form of income going, to at least help you out. I'm pretty sure you could adjust your schedule to that. And I guarantee you probably would have had a lot better moments if you were doing that and working with a schedule instead of doing it every single day for hours and hours and hours on end. I did that shit too. I don't know how you do it, man. That shit is so fucking boring sometimes. But you gotta find some way to entertain yourself when you do it, at least, or find some way to entertain the audience. Give them a reason as to why they should donate to you. Same thing with fucking DSP. He's got the same fucking problem too. He whines and cries and begs to his audience about how he needs money, but yet he can't do a part-time job because it interferes with his streaming schedule. Well, fucking fix your streaming schedule. If you see that nobody is really wanting to donate, nobody's really wanting to support, then obviously there's a fucking reason why, idiot, right? Because it's up to the person who's providing that entertainment to be entertaining. And when you're constantly going around banning your chat, constantly getting pissed at them for every little fucking thing, because it should all be about you, Phil, right? If you're not talking about Phil, you're banned. See, and those kind of streamers like Wings and DSP and all that, it just goes to show you that people like them shouldn't be on the internet at all. And it is very surprising how they manage to get these, get these like fan bases and stuff going around. How are you doing, Alexis? Right? But they choose not to capitalize on it, or they choose to. Yeah, I feel like they're in constant state of denial. I'm doing good. How are you? Right? Because no matter how many times their audience tells them to correct something or to do something in order to make their stream a lot better, they just get mad about it. They get pissy. They start throwing fucking bitch fits. And it isn't until years later that they decide to do one of those, go back in time kind of things, where they look at all their old content and all their old. To be honest, I'm Russian and I do not understand a single. Well then, Skot привет, до свидания. Take care. See you later. Anyway, so like I was saying, right? Phil has the easiest fucking solution, and that's the thing right there too, right? Is that the easiest solutions are right in front of your fucking face. Phil needs money. Okay, go get a part-time job, dude, or even go full-time if you can, and adjust your schedule to that. And guaranteed, if you have a set schedule that isn't just bullshit, right? Because that's another thing you also have to... Excuse me. Oh, that's another thing you also have to fix too. Oh, I had to burp right there. My apologies. Is that fucking... What is that shit called? That stupid podcast that you have... Nobody fucking cares, dude. As much as you think that people care, nobody really gives a shit about you talking about your day in the most mundane and asinine way possible. Number 2, Phil's day off. Nobody gives a shit about that. You're called DSP, right? Or your channel's called DSP Gaming. Where's the gaming? The podcast and Phil's day. I was gonna say Dill. Phil's day off has absolutely nothing, or adds absolutely nothing of value to what it is that you're trying to showcase, which is your gameplay. But of course, you never really put those on anything else aside from your live streams. So I don't think I've ever seen any of your podcast stuff on YouTube, or hell, I don't even think I've seen your podcast stuff on an official podcast website, because it's not a real podcast. It's just you rambling about and you giving it a title that makes you think that it is a podcast, but it's not. Anyway, I rambled on a bit too much about that. Let's keep going with this. See, we lost track. We were talking about LTG, and we went from LTG to Wings to DSP, but that's how it goes.
And I'll lose again to fucking trigger.
And overall a very flawed person. Some of his clips are funny, and some are downright awful, but all of them are, to an extent, entertaining, and their captivating nature is a big contributor to his popularity. Recently, he has seemingly claimed to have turned a corner with his content, and has appeared on the No Jumper podcast to talk about his past, and many controversies he's been involved in. With these revelations and his controversial past, let's explore the origins and the story of everyone's favorite actor, whose only role besides a brief reality show appearance has ever been a deranged and immature rage quitter, Low Tier God.
Here we go, man. Here we go. Let's do this. Early life speculation, or speculification. I think that's how you would say it. Speculification and organs.
Low Tier God is 7'6".
Anytime we get to a new title, I'm just gonna say it in a way that I think he would say it and just completely butcher the pronunciation because it's funny as hell.
2,859 pounds of pure muscle, and a member of the Sigma species. His eye color is lightning, and he's a natural on the football pitch. Just kidding. His age has not been explicitly clarified, but the general consensus seems to be that he is almost 40 years old, which he very uncomfortably denies.
38? 38? No, I'm not 38. God damn.
Yeah, he's like, damn, we're playing with some old head now.
However, evidence seems to be to the contrary. He is also very evasive about his name, and has adopted the name DeLuan Sparrow. This is also shown to be false, and he has said that his government name is Dale Wilson.
Dale Wilson.
And there has been a trademark filed for the name Low Tier God, with the owner being listed as that same name. Even now, when asked about his age on this podcast from 2 months ago, He dodges the question, resulting in this cringe-worthy interaction.
It's scary. Having a kid is probably one of the most terrifying things.
How old are you now?
How old do you think I am?
29.
Let's go with it.
Yeah?
Yeah, let's go with
What?
it. Yeah.
Okay.
Nah, but no kids.
You could kind of be a lot of different ages, to be honest.
Exactly. So that's what's.
You like,
I mean,
give it
it's out there. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
out there. But
The speculated reason he lies about his age is because he is, and I'm quoting here, embarrassed that he's nearly 40 yet acts like a raging crybaby because his fragile ego can't handle losing video games. Adam22 has a more charitable interpretation
yeah,
about
that's
trying to
pretty much what it
remain
is, dude.
mysterious to frustrate the trolls, but many would cast doubt on this. He does have 1984 banned in his chat, but as his viewers have duly
1984?
noted, this must just be because he is a notorious literature snob. He must just hate George Orwell.
Hi,
George
we're visible.
Orwell?
The wireless.
I don't even know who that is. Growing up and development of personality. Yeah. Yes, development. I forgot the P in there, but yeah. How can I forget the P? How can I forget the P? Anyway.
Growing up in South Central Los Angeles, being very tall and nerdy, Wilson claims to have been picked on or constantly asked if he played basketball.
So in LA, I was always that kid that I was quiet, I was tall, so a lot of kids wanted to try me. I spoke different. I was, I liked video games.
He also felt that his upbringing was different and that he was smarter than his peers, which is a good early insight to his narcissistic tendencies and superiority complex. Wilson has spoken about the absence of his father, but only to complain that if his parents were present, he would already be rich, because if his parents were good parents, he would be a professional athlete already.
If you're 6'7", and you're not a professional athlete, your parents were just garbage parents.
Okay. He reflects that he was quiet with a subdued personality and claims that many people he knew in his younger years don't understand the character he plays online.
Because everybody knows me for being quiet, so when they pop on the internet and see the you see, whether it's family members, people I grew up with, they're like, oh, you're arrogant, blah, blah, blah. Like, you're not the person I remember. I'm like, I mean, this is who I am now.
You'll see later why this topic seems to have a lot of conflicting viewpoints. Eventually, Wilson moved to Antelope Valley in northern Los Angeles, where he reports that while he still had issues, his experience was better there. He also mentions meeting people of other races than blacks and Hispanics.
I started to meet different kids, because in LA, it was just like, you had blacks, you had Hispanics, but now I'm like interacting with white kids for the first time, Asian kids for the first time, so things are a little bit different.
One can only imagine this difference in experience contributed to his less than tolerant remarks regarding the African American community, which have been dutifully documented by detractors. He is known for referring to black men as balrogs and black women as balrogettes.
I'm fucking with a woman of culture. A woman of culture would be a Latina. A woman of culture would be a Middle Eastern. A woman of culture would be an Asian. I'll even take a Becky if that's the case. Anything but a balrogette.
Referencing a character from Street Fighter in a derogatory manner. The horrors of South Central must have really gotten to him.
See any Balrog names, I'm throwing them shit in the garbage. Fuck your credentials. I'll choose everybody else except for you. I see any Balrog name, you're not getting hired.
Any Balrog name, you're not getting married. What the fuck? What the hell is this dude on, man? This dude is fucking weird.
Like Tay Smith. Next.
I find this clip to be especially rich considering the name he actively chose for himself was DeLuan Sparrow, and he changed it from something like Dale Wilson. But I digress, we're getting off track. Another interesting note from his past that may have contributed to his developing personality comes from a video titled My Biggest Simp Mistake, in which Wilson relays a story from when he was 20 years old and had an experience with an unfaithful girlfriend.
He's like, I'm in the movies. I said, what the? I was like, in the movies with who? She's like, with such and such. The same dude that she's been kicking it with that she claimed was her friend.
He recalls that he got her a nice necklace and even got her name tattooed on his arm, but it wasn't enough for her to remain faithful.
And I showed her.
The name tattooed on her arm? Fuck, dude. Why would you fuck up that badly? Oh my god. Anyway, that's not my place.
And she was like, oh my God, why did you do that?
Granted, I don't have a name of anybody tattooed on me. Or, I mean, my previous, like, lover or whatever you want to call it. You know, none of that.
And I said, because I love you, like, that's why I got you blasted. I wanted to show you this was real. Here's your necklace. I put the necklace on it, took the necklace, all of that. I got the name blasted. I thought I actually got my back that I never technically, you know, I'm fighting for that I shouldn't even have to fight for, like, got the name blasted. The last straw for me, I told you guys this part of the story before, when I told her I wanted to go see a movie. She said she wanted to go to that movie. I caught her at the same movie theater with the same ugly ass.
He then attributes his narcissistic and combative personality to this instance and other similar instances, turning him away from trusting people.
Yes, I was down bad like that. Why do you think I'm like this now? Why do you think I'm so arrogant? Why do you think nothing bothers me? That's just one of the many stories of people that f me over in life. That's why nothing bothers me. That's why I lack empathy. That's why I'm a narcissist. Because the world turned me into that.
He claims that the world ripped all the empathy out of him. It's interesting to note that this story is strongly reminiscent of other backgrounds of certain red pill YouTubers like Steph is Cold, who is also known for going on tirades and being narcissistic and insecure.
You don't get that pussy wet.
Well, there's that, and there's also his repeated mentions of his BBC that I draw similarities from.
BBC team.
But whatever. It's possible that struggling to deal with this and other heartbreaks in his youth contributed to such a rapid personality shift to the ever-clippable low-tier god we know today. Just as a side note, he's also expressed that men should have at least 50 bodies before getting married. I guess that's why he's not married at 40, because he's still working on that.
Hello, Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile with a very real...
Damn, dude. What the fuck? That was a sick burn. Ay, ay, ay. Origins of my streaming career. And how eventually I became an actor. Who got compensated with snacks.
According to Wilson, he developed an affinity for fighting games due to his competitive personality, and when he realized he could play against others online, he would play at all hours of the day, sometimes until 4 in the morning. He claims that his online persona at the beginning of his career was who he always was. Even before streaming, he recounts that he and his friends would be toxic to each other while playing video games. They would always talk to each other in that manner, and he figured that he should just record it. However, before the low-tier god character had come into existence, he uploaded skits and vlogs to a YouTube channel dating back to 2006, and his first real exposure was in response to a video he recorded directed at the infamous Lolcow Boogie2988, calling him a fat fuck.
This is a fucking video to some fat on YouTube named Boogie2988. Now, I'm tired of this fat popping up in all my search engines when I'm looking for a workout video. I don't give a about the aftermath from any of you Boogie fans that feel sorry for this greasy
and complaining about seeing him everywhere, as well as about him making money for doing absolutely nothing. Wilson also threw in a large amount of very creative insults.
non-vegetable eating, cooking a George Foreman grill just to drink out a drip tray, wide load, hungry hippo, planet, pretending to have a thyroid problem, / free willy, park bus, Yokozuna, Flutter, Kirby, Sally Dodger, Chair Crusher, Butterball.
He claims that everything he would say in his videos and streams came naturally to him, and he wasn't scripting his jokes or content, and he couldn't control his anger, which resulted in so many viral clips.
I would say shit going about my day, and the next thing you know, like, especially 2020, that's when everything started coming back. I'm like, I don't even remember saying that. And then it just came back, but it was just natural.
Somewhat confusingly, he also relates being a streamer to method acting, and states that he was taking acting classes that would help most streamers adapt.
Oh, I feel like what's important for streamers too, I would say acting classes.
Yeah.
Method acting?
There you can really peel back layers.
But it's not method
you
acting,
take acting
though.
classes,
He's not acting at all. It's genuinely just him and his reactions to shit. And that shit is something as little as like a message that you leave on his chat. Hey, what happened to the whole sticks and stones thing, mijo? Come on now. Sticks and stones may break your bones, but but words and text will send you to get that ass banned. Let's keep going.
You look at things differently. You crack open a different code to your brain you never knew existed.
Speaking of acting, it is known that Low Tier God has long attempted to spark a career in acting. Though, as previously mentioned, he has only had one role, appearing briefly on E-League The Challenger Street Fighter V, a reality show centering around 7 gamers living in an Atlanta house together.
Low Tier God is one of the people coming into this house I think everybody is kind of excited to beat up. He's sort of infamous.
He was eliminated in the very first episode.
Thing's gonna do it now. Last hit to eliminate Low Tier God. The light kick. Any hit'll do it. Any little toe tap. Nice and safe for Rob TV. He doesn't have to do anything risky. Oh!
He reflects that while he wanted to pursue acting, his streaming efforts took off more, so he fell back on them while still aspiring to act someday. It's obvious he's still clinging on to these hopes, from his demeanor while
I mean, you can aspire all you want, but unless you're putting that aspiration into action and doing something with that motivation that you have, that you want to be an actor so badly, instead of focusing on streaming, yeah. I mean, like I said, the solution was right then and there for you, was to adjust your schedule and make it, but I don't know, man. I don't have that kind of mentality.
on camera and the way he talks about it.
I'm trying to get back into that mindset for you guys, but this isn't a role, and I'm not auditioning for a big studio movie, so I'm not going to do that. And I'm not going to kill brain cells and wrinkle up my face, and it's not for a check.
With his age and complete and utter failure to land any noteworthy roles, this behavior and his obsession with his skin, which according to some includes hiding wrinkles with face filters, has drawn a fair bit of ridicule from his viewers.
Pizza Hut just changed the combo game with the new My Hut.
Controversies and bans.
Low Tier God has been banned from Twitch several times, which is unsurprising to say the least. Reflecting on his first ban in 2018, Wilson claims he doesn't even remember what led to the ban. The reason cited by Twitch was... any guesses? Ding ding ding, hateful content. Apparently after appealing this, he was unbanned 3 years later. Another controversy in 2018 resulted in a video about female cosplayers being taken down for bullying and harassment, and I'm sure you can imagine what kind of viewpoints were expressed in it.
A bunch of fat chicks wearing a bunch of lore cosplay. A lot of you females have it all wrong. Now, you can't compete with a character that was made to look perfect.
He received a strike for child safety on his original YouTube account for showing a World Start video, and according to him, his editor was posting clips on another channel, leading to Low Tier God eventually finding himself being smacked by the ban hammer for ban evasion. He now reflects on his lack of YouTube presence with a considerable amount of cope, referring to the content uploaded by trolls in his absence as free exposure, despite a long documented history of him striking down trolls when he had the ability. The most infamous ban Low Tier God received came in 2020 following The Speech. It has been memed far and wide and has an extremely large number of re-uploads and reformats, including a Genius page documenting and explaining the lyrics of the work of art titled You Should Unalive Yourself Now by Low Tier God, also known as the Flute Musician Incident. This is what blew up his online presence to immense proportions, and was the only reason I knew of him back then.
You are worthless. Your life literally is as valuable as a summer ant. I'm just gonna stump you. You're gonna keep coming back. I'm gonna seal up all my cracks. You're gonna keep coming back. Why? Because you keep smelling the syrup. You serve no purpose in life. Your purpose in life is to be in my stream sucking on my daily. Your life is nothing. You serve zero purpose. You should
Celebrate Christmas.
now.
Obviously he was banned for this, probably for like copyright infringement or something. Yeah, just kidding, hateful content. He's been banned from Twitch too many times to cover, including several times even in 2023. Honestly,
Damn, that's
the
true
research for this
desperation
video
right there,
has been
man.
frustrating because every time I try to find a specific moment, I'll be met with like 5 other bans instead, because he's just been banned that many times. He has made an account on Kick to circumvent bans, but does not often stream on the platform when he's able to stream on Twitch. As of now, his YouTube presence is still non-existent, but his Twitch and Kick accounts are still up. Some general controversies he's been involved in, other than the speech, his Boogie 2988 video, and some interactions with other celebrities that'll be covered later, are some general behaviors displaying sexism and intolerance, multiple instances of him yelling at or being verbally abusive to his girlfriends, and overall toxic behaviors towards others that has resulted in the aforementioned platform bans as well as several console bans. Wilson reflects on one instance of yelling at his girlfriend and telling her to get off his stream, claiming that she was the only chick that knew how to get under his skin.
A day before.
What?
What? You're fucking inconsiderate as fucking child?
He later laments that the trolls just ran with it. As with many other controversial or detrimental moments of his career, Wilson apparently does not remember what he said or did. He assures us though that it really wasn't how it looked, he was just in a hothead phase. He claims to have later rethought his toughness on the thoughts, and made an effort to be better, though the only reason he wanted to was to get more female fans. His remarks about the race or disabilities of other opponents has also drawn quite a bit of backlash.
You blatant lie to YouTube to get my content taken down off my channel because of your own insecurities.
What the fuck?
Strike.
Probably the biggest
Asian
example of this is his
LTG.
controversy involving the gamer Brawly Legs, who suffers from arthrogryposis, a debilitating
Yeah, this
condition
show's fucked
characterized
up,
by a
man.
lack of muscular development. When Wilson was matched against Brawly, he insulted the physically
Dude,
disabled gamer.
LTG got fucking smoked. Any person that LTG has fought off against, he got fucking destroyed, man. Like I said, Viscon, Broly Legs, Panda, all those people, man, they kick your ass so fucking hard, bro. But I mean, that's really, I mean, it's like a walk in the park for them, for everybody, really. Bashing on a 40-year-old with insecurities, major insecurities, and refuses to get professional help for them. You know? But what do I know?
Gamer by comparing him to Krang from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Everyone deserves the fastest, most reliable internet.
I really just don't see how this Krang ass motherfucker could even do any of this shit. Not respecting this dude, period.
Before he lost the game and rage quit.
I'm good, dude. I can't accept losses where I bodied you and you just get some fake fucking shit on me. Slobbering all over fucking controllers and shit.
The next day, following a tweet from Brawly Legs offering to coach Wilson in Street Fighter, he continued to disparage him for his physical disability.
I don't give a fuck what that ugly ass slobbering half of a man is saying. I'm not gonna do anything to give that ugly, worthless specimen anything to gain any type of notoriety to his pity name.
His version of the story is that Brawly was in his chat trolling beforehand, and that he only started insulting him after he lost the Street Fighter match, and Brawly offered to tutor him on Twitter. He then dug into his nostalgia bag and pulled out a character from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which, now that I think about it, it does make sense for a 1987 TV show to be nostalgic for him. This retelling is also chronologically inaccurate, as he compared Brawly to Krang during their match, and however much wholesome nostalgia Krang brings to mind now, it's not quite as wholesome to make fun of someone's physical disabilities because you were mad about losing. He also fails to mention his remarks about drooling all over the controller and other things. He complains about still hearing about it every day. Truly horrible that he still gets criticized for that.
So, but if there was a reason for you to be attacking back, you got to work with what you got. And a lot of times a disability is what you got.
That's true. Everything is rebuttal. Like, anything you see me say on the internet is rebuttal. Like, I literally am responding.
If the only thing you can think of while arguing is a visual disability, that's probably a problem. It's important to note here as well that the only thing Low Tier God is responding to is being beaten at a video game. He has also been in the center of controversy regarding his views on trans people, and was banned from EVO, the biggest fighting game tournament in the world, for expressing these views in 2020. After losing a match to the user Ceroblast, because of course it had to be after losing a match, he made several disparaging remarks about her not having gotten her reconstructive surgery done yet.
That's exactly why I got this dude blacklisted. He ain't trans. He didn't get his dick slit. He ain't got the balls for that. If you're a real transsexual, cross-dresser, whatever the fuck you want to call it, get your dick slipped. Stop being scary.
Of course, when reflecting on this, Wilson basically excuses himself by saying he was still on his hothead shit, and that the clip went viral for the wrong reasons. The amount of excuses made from saying things that will clearly be interpreted a certain way in Wilson's retelling of his life is really mind-blowing.
Yep, because he's trying to make it seem like, oh, it was out of context. Because he doesn't want to see himself as a bad guy now that all of the shit that he said, all the wrongs that he's done is catching up to him at 40 fucking years old. You know, I just like to say that out there.
He has apparently not been unbanned from the tournament as of now. Another interesting interaction from his career is his clash with fellow streamer
DSP.
and Lolcow, Darkside Phil, who made some remarks about his stream setup being cluttered and his chat making fun of him. Wilson responded by remarking that DSP was scared of doing a podcast for $50,000, referencing the opportunity to be on the Lolcow podcast made to him by Keemstar. He also extensively disparaged Phil's appearance, referencing his physique, facial hair, voice, height, and personal hygiene. Phil was kind of able to turn Wilson's usual remarks about caring about how another man looks against him.
Because you fantasize about me ass naked with abs chiseling and a Urian thong.
Why does he care about how I look? It's a little odd, isn't it? Why does this man care about why another man streamer looks? Like, what's going on there?
Which is fair. Rare Darkside Phil W. Anyway, this culminates in a match between the two in which Low Tier God emerged victorious, though notably raging for the entire match.
Starts off the match with a scrub cycle pressure, praying that it work.
Not exactly an extremely controversial interaction. It's just always funny to see Lolcow crossovers.
Right now, Sonic Shakes are half price after 7 p.m. when you order online or in the app. So save on your strawberry shake today, and your chocolate shake tomorrow, and your Oreo cheesecake shake the next day. Sonic half price shakes after 7.
Trolls. I mean, I can't really say anything different about that because I don't think he calls them anything. Specimens. There you go. But yeah, no, that's the wrong Sonic advertisement that I wanted. I want the real one, the one that's in Modesto. Alright, I'm back. Let's keep going. Oh boy, here come the trolls.
Low Tier God has attracted a large amount of trolls to document his behaviors and hold him accountable for many dishonest or otherwise morally bankrupt behaviors.
No, do you feel like you have like a real little army, a little league of people that are like dead set on taking you down, whatever you do online? Because that's one thing your man Boogie298 definitely has.
I mean, yeah, that's been my life since 2015.
Right.
Discord servers, YouTube channels, and other forms of media have been created with the sole purpose of ridiculing him, not to mention dedicated trolls that re-upload pretty much everything he puts up on the internet relentlessly. He has shown some awareness of this, saying that they're only after him because he's cute, and that he can't fathom why a guy would care what he does online. I do understand his point about why they care so much, though his willful ignorance of his misdeeds is a bit off-putting. Wilson also frequently laments that he has so many trolls and has a stalking folder, and claims that pretty much every instance of him being clipped by trolls and getting into trouble for his remarks are taken the wrong way, and that the trolls just run with it. I will say that the amount of trolls who still upload about certain lolcows to this day always blows my mind. Like, there's people who care so much that they're making the best 20 low-tier god trolls of 2023. Their entire online presence is just completely devoted to making this guy mad. Godspeed, low-tier bisexual.
Going up your ass and there's nothing you can do about it.
Hello everyone, this is Low Tier Bisexual here, and today I will be doing a top 20 best LTG trolls list.
An example would be the aforementioned video documenting his government name and age. Two things he seems to want to keep quiet. These channels have clipped things as silly as Low Tier God's secret Reddit account, seemingly revealing he buys knockoff merchandise to appear more financially well off than he is, something that he did not take kindly to, prompting him to show off all his expensive hats, and attempting to dox and mock one of the so-called culprits of the leak.
Remember this. I guarantee you, nigga, one of my hats costs more than this nigga's whole get-up. So guarantee somebody calling me a broke-ass bum. I've seen your pics. Your hat don't cost more than the whole outfit. The Prada hat that I was wearing on the motherfucking shit, this is a Prada hat. Nigga. This is an $800 hat.
His claims of being rich become significantly less credible when you consider that he was living with a roommate at the time and splitting rent, despite his $800 hat. There are also, of course, many channels that document his iconic clips and sometimes entire streams, and those that attempt to provoke a reaction on stream, as well as entire compilations of rage moments or other funny or sad occasions. With someone that loses their temper so easily, you couldn't really expect anything different. Low Tier God has been known to have a zero tolerance policy for clipping though, and for striking many videos from detractors and trolls. He claims that everything he strikes can be appealed as fair use and comes right back up, though it's unknown how that justifies his behaviors at all. His reasoning for the original behavior was that he wanted to control every stream of his content to avoid losing out on revenue. He claims that it no longer bothers him, and that he regards it as free promo, which to many seems to be another instance of him pretending not to care about something that he really can't stand.
Take control of your health by boosting your force field, the immune system. With the Aura Ring, you can listen to your
Yeah, he doesn't care, alright. He doesn't care to the point where he goes on like an hour-long rant on just trolls in general. And why he's doing so much better than them and all this other shit and blah, 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 blah. You know, you get the gist of it. Alright, this one is called Next Taptures. Remember, guys, I'm a scholar.
Wilson has stated that he doesn't see anything viable in fighting games anymore because there's no money in it. According to him, he hasn't felt any drive to play since 2018. In 2020, he recalls transitioning away from playing games on stream and claims that his audience prefers his commentary content now over his fighting game streams.
So here's my fighting game audience. There's like a different audience. Like when people come up to me, they don't say, I know you for Street Fighter. Oh man, it's when you went over this, that was crazy. When you talked about this, that was crazy. Oh, like I've been watching you for years.
Though I seriously doubt he would ever be able to touch the attention he got by raging at online players and going in on his chat. In addition to transforming the content he produces, he claims to have turned a new leaf regarding his rage-induced tirades, rage quits, and other unscrupulous behaviors. However, something that would definitely result in many doubting this transition is his treatment and harassment of YouTuber June the King following a documentary he posted in 2019. Initially, he had the video taken down and stated his intentions to have the other topics of his videos flag them in order to take down his channel entirely.
If I can get a hold to a couple other people off that channel that he's uploading videos about, we could all submit flags and kill that dude's channel.
He then proceeded to encourage a mass flagging, indicate his plans to file a civil suit for the violation of his privacy, and in a massive showing of hypocrisy, after his copyright strike did not succeed in keeping the video down, eventually doxed June the King. He also went on several tirades threatening physical violence.
Nah, what I'm gonna do is tie him up. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna tie him up. I'm gonna bound him, staring at him with his beady ass Kodak black eyes. Trying to cut his shit off while June's just looking, just in desperate trouble.
This obviously gained a lot of attention from commentary channels and members of the community, and solidified.
Like I said, man, this dude's insecurities are so far out there that it's just really disturbing that he goes to such lengths just because somebody made a factual video about you, because it's on the fucking internet, dude. What goes on the internet stays on the internet for fucking ever. Alright, mijo? Make sure you take that to heart. Alright? LTG? Alright, Mr. Scholar? Be right back.
Why Low Tier God is someone who cannot handle criticism and is extremely insecure, and is willing to go to extreme lengths to crush any opposition.
Really disturbing lengths too. Like, it's fucking weird.
And something I always try to do, as a rule of thumb, is whenever I cover someone, sure, there's a lot of bad things being said about them, right? But I also want to find all the good aspects that aren't really being shown. You know, I try to make that a point, like, within all my videos. But with Low Tier God, it was like a really big struggle because it's so hard to find anything good that he's actually done. He's a terrible person.
This instance shattered any goodwill Low Tier God hasn't already stomped out for himself. He claims to be moving on from his old ways, though many are unsure as to what would have changed in such little time. Wilson has also expressed a desire to one day go off the grid, off his Jim Carrey shit, and pursue acting to escape the public scrutiny of streaming.
We're looking for
But how does that
motivated
make
people
any
to take
sense,
online game development classes.
How does that make any sense, though? If he's trying to get away from the public eye, he's going to come back in the public eye? Same shit's going to happen. Unless he focuses on the real problem, which is
as he has
himself.
presented himself in the past on the internet, is one of the most toxic, short-tempered, hypocritical...
In that. Just look like you don't even get to work at GNC making videos about... Just don't get no...
What?
This punk is stalking its next victim.
And otherwise unhinged individuals to gain widespread popularity on the internet, though I can recall laughing at a good bit of his rants in the past. When combined with some of his more serious misdeeds though, it's hard to find it as funny. Any attempt to analyze the psychology behind his online presence would ultimately be fruitless, as Wilson himself has already claimed that certain events in his past resulted in him becoming narcissistic and lacking empathy, as well as described himself as a short-tempered hothead. It does seem that in addition to that, though he has shown many instances of insecurity, and in his reflections on the past, he still seems unwilling to accept any responsibility for his actions, or even that any wrongdoing was committed in the first place. It is apparent that he has been hurt, or even that any wrongdoing was committed in the first place. It is apparent that he has been hurt by others in the past, which could certainly...
Look, I can understand being hurt by people in the past, but you can't let that hate turn you into the person that you don't want to be. Or then again, maybe it was who he was. You know, maybe it was... Or maybe he was that kind of person all along. But it says everyone always says, right? Your environment shapes you into the person you're going to become, into the person you will become. And unless you make an effort to change your environment, things that affect you negatively, you know, it doesn't have to be like a big fucking change all in one night. No, little by little, right? I mean, right here, he looks genuinely happy, like he's smiling, like he's enjoying himself, but we all know it's a facade, right? But when you're trying to change for the better, it's all about the little steps along the way, not the big steps. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be celebrating, you know, when you, what you think is, or what you would say is a big step, right? But be sure to celebrate the little victories too, because it's those little victories that slowly end up adding up to the big victories. That's how you have to look at things, and how you have to approach life.
Explain a lot of his behaviors, if they were ever authentic in the first place, as his reflections seem to be contradictory in reference to that. However, when considering his behaviors in private, and the consistencies throughout his stories, it's safe to assume that he was acting
he's in private too.
The only question is whether he is able to justify his actions using the trolls and his hot-headed nature as excuses.
Nope.
Longtime viewers and trolls seem to think that many of Low Tier God's criticisms of others and the things he makes fun of them for are secretly projections.
Yeah. Because that's what they are, dude. They really are projections of who he is as an individual, right? He always likes to bag on people. He always likes to bag on gays and men and all that stuff. I mean, you bag on them, but at the same time you're going around making up these crazy-ass fantasies that I guarantee you no straight dude would ever even think about to such extremes that you do. Like, Just, what's so wrong about admitting to it? Oh, that's right. You know what would happen. Maybe that's what LTG actually stands for. It was never low tier god, but actually low tier gay. What? Like, what's going on here?
I cut on my god. Every time I cut in a fighting game, a faggot ass nigga, a fucking tier sexual ass nigga. Yeah, I said faggot. Because you gotta be gay and keep stream slapping me at every game.
This is just speculation, but it is true that in his history, he seems to have had a very difficult time coping with any sort of loss, be it in video games or just in random people making stupid jokes about him. I hope he's able to overcome these things.
Yeah.
Wilson claims to have come around a corner with his mindset and his content, and that while before he would be unable to control his rage, he now realizes that to lose his temper and go on these viral tirades is not worth it.
Like any clip you see is the clip in the context is somebody in my chat saying something and I just say some shit back. Yeah. So if I do it now, it's more so just for entertainment. Like I don't, man, people say shit in my chat 24/7, but I just don't really respond like that anymore. I like just...
At 40 years old, he finally got that little tiny bit of like his brain cells working together, and I don't know. I still think he's just saying that shit just to cover his ass, but now that he's starting to realize how that shit can come back to bite you in the ass one day, yeah.
Just for wow factor and nostalgia.
It says they all, you know, it says people say too, you know, treat others how you want to be treated. No, of course, don't let people walk over your kindness or step over you and shit. No, you also got to learn to stand your ground when it comes to your personal beliefs and your ideas. But, you know, don't do what this dude does. You're just going to end up fucking yourself over.
I'll just pick something out and say something. That's basically it. But everything, I used to respond to every thing. That's where the clips came from.
He has stated that he doesn't believe in therapy, but he has been able to work through his problems just by talking to himself.
So instead of working things out with a professional who actually studies these things, who actually studies what you go through, the trauma that has been inflicted on you, and can help you find ways to be able to utilize tools that can help you with progressing better? You don't believe in that? Granted, you know, it's not like therapies you find one and then you stick with them forever. No. Therapy is also about trial and error. You know, you're not going to find that one magical therapist that's going to be like a cure-all for all your problems. They're only going to be able to offer you tools that you yourself have to learn to utilize in your daily life that will help you navigate your, I guess, in a way, your emotional status a lot, or your emotional regulation a lot better, if that makes any sense. Yeah, because I mean, where's like, if you really think about it, right? Where is all of that self-hate coming from? You know, why does he hate himself so much that he has to project his insecurities onto other people? And it's an insecurity, you know, that insecurity spawned some kind of emotion, and eventually that emotion, that negative emotion, grew and grew and grew until it turned into rage and hatred of himself so strongly to the point that he has to go and project all of his hatred towards others because, like I said, he hates himself that much. Because when LTG goes back and looks at a decade of his life, which was spent doing this shit, instead of actually doing other things to help him progress further in life and help him pursue his goals and help him actually do what he wants to do, instead of constantly just talking about having aspirations, he hates himself that he's 40 years old and he has nothing to prove for it. Like, yeah, he buys shit that nobody gives a fuck about. Like, congratulations on that, what is it, that, what did he say it was? $900 hat? Whoop-de-fucking-do, bro. Nobody gives a goddamn flying fuck. about a fucking hat. Nobody gives a flying shit about the stuff that you own. Materialism isn't everything. That's why you're unhappy. You probably own a bunch of shit that you don't need. Just to cope with the fact that you don't have much to show for your life. At 40 years old. But that isn't to say that, you know, my counterpoint to this would be, that isn't to say that you also have to base your life around your decades, right? And what do I mean by that? I mean, like, you know how people say here, right? Oh, by your 20s you should be doing this, by your 30s you should have already done that, and things like that, right? People like to treat their 10 years here on this earth as like a milestone that you have to achieve. But that's what society, that's what people want from you. That's not what life is about. Life isn't about going around and trying to appease to what society and other people want for you to be happy. It's what you personally want, your goals, your aspirations, your dreams, because nobody is going to go out there and live your dreams and live the life that you want for you. You got to do that shit on your own, man. You got to put in that work. You got to put in that time. You got to put in that effort, that dedication, that drive, that aspiration. You have to do it, man. Nobody else is going to do it for you. It's not like you wish upon a shooting star and bam, everything that you want falls right in front of you. But even if it did, you probably wouldn't be able to get far because you still do not choose to get rid of not get rid of, but to fix the root of the problem, which is you, your personality, the kind of person that you have become now. And I'm not saying that it's too late for you to change and reform and, you know, be better than the person that you were yesterday. My piece of advice for you would be to actually, you know, get off the internet for a while, dude. Get off the internet. If you really hate being under the public eye, then stop being in the public eye. Do something else, man. But don't waste another decade of your life doing this shit, because you even said it yourself when somebody asked you if you see yourself doing this shit, especially if it makes you miserable, right? If you're doing something and it makes you miserable, then bro, find something else to do, man. I could say I could say, oh, look at me and stuff, but I never take this shit seriously like you guys do. I'm not doing it for money. I just do it for fun because it's entertaining to me. Am I going to end up doing streaming in the long run? Probably not. I mean, who knows? But really, who knows? Because there's so many things you could do with streaming, right? It doesn't all have to be about video games. It could be about many different things. And some people will even just, you know, like, for instance, Mudahar, right? Some ordinary gamers. He treats it more like a video diary, which is awesome, dude. You know, he talks about things that are entertaining to him. He does things that are entertaining to him. He does things that bring him joy and bring him happiness. And what does that do in return? You know, people see that. People see that he's enjoying himself. People see that he's having fun. People see that he is doing what he loves, and that brings other people in. That brings more people in to watch his content, to watch his stuff, and support him if they want to. But he never begs or asks for donations or anything. Like, sure, he'll throw out a sponsorship here and there, but I mean, from what I've seen, it's good products, you know. But it all really comes down to how you yourself want to be treated in the world. Right? Like, if you go around like LTG and just start being an asshole to everybody because you've had some deep personal trauma that you don't want to try to find tools to help you with getting through it and helping you become somebody better, then that's all you, dude. You know, you can't blame others for your own things that happen in life. Like, yes, things did happen. You have to learn to accept that those things did indeed happen. But you cannot let those negative experiences shape you and turn you into the monster that you want to so desperately not be. You know, everybody has problems, dude. Everybody goes through shit, and that's why there's people that study these, you know, these things that we go through in life professionally. And I'm not saying that therapy is a cure-all. It's not a cure-all. They provide tools to help you with navigating through some, you know, hard spots in life. They help you. They're tools to help you. But it is ultimately up to you to implement those tools that they have provided you with into your everyday life. And it also will help you into how you view life as well, right? Because to LTG, life is probably just shit. It's fucking garbage. You know, he doesn't really have any... Well, I wouldn't say he doesn't have any aspirations. Yeah, he has aspirations, but he doesn't really do anything to work towards those aspirations. Right? He has goals, he has dreams, but does he ever really, you know, work towards them? Or put in the effort to work towards them? I don't think so. But then again, this is from somebody on the outside looking in. I don't know what he does in his personal time. Quite frankly, I don't care. I don't think anybody should care about what you do except for you. If it makes you happy, that's all good, man. That's all you should care about, is if it personally brings you joy. If it doesn't, then it's time for you to look at something else to do or find some other form of, like, entertainment or something that catches your interest and go with that. You know, Dale, maybe it might be time for you to hang up the hat and say bye-bye to streaming for a while, dude, and learn to focus on yourself. Like I said, that's not... It's nothing bad that you should, like, want to change something about yourself, right? As I've said before, we all go through shit in life. We all go through so much shit that impacts us heavily. And some could be as small as, like, a couple of words or something, you know, to other people. But it has to do with your environment, how you grow up, the kind of things that you take into consideration with how you approach life and how you approach others. And if there's any trauma or anything that you have deep down, you should learn to get help. So you can change into the person that you want to be. Not the person that you should be, but the person that you want to be. Right? Because nobody knows who they should be. But almost everybody knows who they want to be. And as long as you're working towards that, and you don't have to be streaming it to for the whole world to fucking see, dude. Like I said, this is why you should take a break. So you can focus on yourself. So when you come back better than ever. You come back and show people that, you know, your old way of doing things, that you saw your mistakes, that you saw your flaws, you saw what was truly holding you back, which was yourself. And you decided to take a break. I don't know for how long you decide to go on break, if you decide to go on break. But when you come back, you're going to be back with a much better state of mental clarity. And you're not going to let all the little things get to you all that much, man. Because there's more to life than getting mad at over really small things, especially when it comes to things over video games, man. Video games are just a form of entertainment. And they might be there forever. Video games might be there forever. But the memories and the experiences that you go through in life, those are things that only you will be able to look back and reflect on in life. Yeah, like if you really want to, LTG, since you want to aspire to be an actor, then you could do this, right? Why don't you, I mean, this might sound silly to some, but why don't you start treating your life like a movie? Up to this point in time, look at all your past accomplishments. Look at all the things that you have done in life. All throughout your 40 years of life in here, right? Don't count the 0 to 10 because that doesn't really count. But just really sit down and think everything that you have done up to this point at 40 years old. Do you think that is worthy of being put onto a... do you think that's worthy of being made into a film? And if so, why? I mean, it's not like it hasn't already happened. You've made a name for yourself, but for all the wrong reasons, man. I mean, I guess in a way you could say that you've become an actor. You've become a complete clown on the internet. So, there you go. That's your... You know, that's your big achievement right there. You made a name for yourself. In the worst way possible. Everybody knows who you are. But there you go. That's your legacy. That is what you are going to be known for the rest of your life. Unless you decide to change yourself for the better. But I highly doubt my words will ever reach you. I highly doubt you'll ever even care because of the way that you are. But everybody has the ability to change themselves to be better than who they were yesterday. That's all I'm going to say about that, unless we reach another chapter or something.
Solidified low-tier god is someone who cannot handle criticism and is extremely insecure, and is willing to go to extreme lengths to crush any opposition.
And something I always try to do as a rule of thumb is whenever I cover someone, sure, there's a lot of bad things being said about them, right? But I also want to find all the good aspects that aren't really being shown. You know, I try to make that a point, within all my videos. But with Low Tier God, it was a really big struggle because it's so hard to find anything good that he's actually done. He's a terrible person.
This instance shattered any goodwill low-tier god hasn't already stomped out for himself. He claims to be moving on from his old ways, though many are unsure as to what would have changed in such little time. Wilson has also expressed a desire to one day go off the grid, off his Jim Carrey shit, and pursue acting to escape the public scrutiny of streaming.
Here we go, reflection and psychology. We'll be right back. Give me a few minutes. Alright, let's get back to this.
Low Tier God, as he has presented himself in the past on the internet, is one of the most toxic, short-tempered, hypocritical.
In that, just look like you don't even get to work at GNC, making videos about. This don't get no.
This punk is stalking its next victim.
And otherwise unhinged individuals to gain widespread popularity on the internet. Though I can recall laughing at a good bit of his rants in the past. When combined with some of his more serious misdeeds though, it's hard to find it as funny. Any attempt to analyze the psychology behind his online presence would ultimately be fruitless, as Wilson himself has already claimed that certain events in his past resulted in him becoming narcissistic and lacking empathy, as well as described himself as a short-tempered hothead. It does seem that in addition to that, though he has shown many instances of insecurity, and in his reflections on the past, he still seems unwilling to accept any responsibility for his actions, or even that any wrongdoing was committed in the first place. It is apparent that he has been hurt by others in the past, which could certainly explain a lot of his behaviors if they were ever authentic in the first place, as his reflections seem to be contradictory in reference to that. However, when considering his behaviors in private and the consistencies throughout his stories, it's safe to assume that he was acting authentically. The only question is whether he is able to justify his actions using the trolls and his hot-headed nature as excuses. Longtime viewers and trolls seem to think that many of Low Tier God's criticisms of others and the things he makes fun of them for are secretly projections.
I cut on my goddamn. Every time I cut in a fighting game, a faggot ass nigga, a fucking tier sexual ass nigga. Yeah, I said faggot. Cause you gotta be gay to keep stream slapping me at every game.
This is just speculation, but it is true that in his history, he seems to have had a very difficult time coping with any sort of loss, be it in video games or just in random people making stupid jokes about him. I hope he's able to overcome these things. Wilson claims to have come around a corner with his mindset and his content, and that while before he would be unable to control his rage, he now realizes that to lose his temper and go on these viral tirades is not worth it.
Like any clip you see is the clip in the context is somebody in my chat saying something, I just say some shit back. Yeah. So if I do it now, it's more so just for entertainment. Like I don't, man, people say shit in my chat 24/7, but I just don't really respond like that anymore. I like just for wow factor and nostalgia, I'll just pick something out and say something. That's basically it. But everything, I used to respond to every fucking thing. That's where the clips came from.
He has stated that he doesn't believe in therapy, but he has been able to work through his problems just by talking to himself. He's expressed that he deals with streaming and being famous by recognizing that people who are there for the fame aren't real, and therefore tune out the need for validation from others. Though from his prior online demeanor and seeming attachment to every message in his chat, many are a bit skeptical of this. He also retrospectively reflects on his streaming being akin to method acting, and states that streamers are essentially playing a character, which contradicts with his earlier statements about his reactions being completely natural and authentic. Taking into account his remarks about being a quiet kid and nobody understanding his new combative personality,
family members, people I grew up with, they're like, oh, you're fucking arrogant, blah, blah, blah. Like, you're not the person I remember.
The waters become even more muddied regarding these sentiments. His presentation of his own past does somewhat explain how he ended up presenting himself the way he did online, but many fans have cast doubt on whether or not some of these statements are authentic. And while he has seemed to clean up his online presence as to if he can redeem himself for his past behaviors, and if he can maintain an online presence without his trademark toxicity. With all that said though, it does seem to be the time for Lolcows to try and change their ways. Lolcow Live and the boxing match between Boogie2988 and Wings of Redemption have become sources of hope for improvement, with two major and long-established Lolcows.
Yeah, and unfortunately though, they never took an opportunity to seize that moment and to be able to... Yeah. Wings of Redemption announces he has withdrawn from the Lolcow podcast after harassment on the Lolcow live stream recently. He lets little things as words from people that he doesn't even know get to him to such a point that he just quit this shit. So there you go. We also got Wings to look at too. We can't forget about our boy Wingo.
To my attention that Wings of Redemption has quit the Lolcow Live podcast, so just when you think you can end on a positive note. One of the most prominent features of Lolcows is their unwillingness to change and inability to respond to criticism, things that Low Tier God has certainly exhibited many times throughout his online career. But that doesn't mean he can't change, and only time will tell if his self-professed changes can salvage his image, and if he can redeem himself in any way.
My barber messed up my lineup? Nah, but your mom... And I had the perfect roast. Here's what I'm gonna do instead. I'm gonna time you out for 80,000. Have a good night.
He also still thinks he's going to land large acting roles, despite considerable evidence to the contrary, so I wish him luck. I know I didn't cover every single Low Tier God controversy and piece of his history in this video, but I mostly made it referencing this new podcast interview and how he represents his life retrospectively, as well as some other notable incidents I think are significant. I had a lot of fun writing this video and wanted to do a more historical type commentary video like some of my favorite commentary channels. However critical I may have seemed of Low Tier God, and however awful some of his past remarks have been, I truly hope he is able to keep up his new, more positive content, and I've always found him somewhat funny when he isn't completely unhinged.
Imagine just right now, you just letting an 80-year-old nigga, like an 80-year-old bitch ride your dick. She's like, oh my God. And you're just like, like, bro, you're not gonna fucking enjoy that shit.
Thanks for watching, and as always, like the video if you liked it, dislike the video if you disliked it, and leave a comment with your thoughts below, as well as
new dehydration hack. Oh, here we go.
3 ways to go from dad.
What?
One pull up this trigger, you don't want to my cracker. Come on, let's look at all that cracker. Cause your fucking shit's like calling you your man whacker. Stupid ass trend.
Oh, that friend.
Morning, afternoon, day, YouTube. It's your boy King Cobra back at it with another drink combo.
The fuck?
We're gonna start with my favorite sports drink, which is Body Armor Light Peach Mango.
Yum yum
This stuff is
YouTube.
my jam, dude. For a soft drink, it's pretty tasty.
Those teeth must be rotting like crazy,
That
dude.
is delightful. So we're gonna pour a little bit of that in there. You'll leave a little room at the top for our other drink combo that I made yesterday when I did my video for the vets. Because yesterday was Memorial Day. E&J Peach. And it's been sitting in the freezer, as you can see the frost on the bottom of it. I just took it out of the
YouTube.
freezer.
Yum yum yum.
I don't know how long ago, so I could let it thaw just a little bit, but it's ice cold, as you can see. Oh, that's the stuff, YouTube.
Oh boy, here we go.
Sponsor brandy for your... The biggest complaints about
Don't drop that.
alcohol is that it dehydrates you.
Don't
So
drop
my
it.
solution
Oh
is
boy.
to
And a little
mix
hydration.
alcohol with beverages like Body Armor, which rehydrate you. See what I'm saying? You get like a crazy drink combo, and then you get like all the
Yum,
antioxidants and the vitamins. But this is the drink combo I was
The
sipping on
antioxidants
for my
and
Star Spangled Banner
vitamins.
National Anthem video.
Man, that's crazy.
So that's ice cold. Cheers. Oh, that is just simply delightful. You get this blast of peach with a hint of mango. The Body Armor Light pretty much softens it to like no burn whatsoever, making it really smooth.
And you'll be able to chug that shit
It's
no
hard
problem.
to believe that
dog.
Mint Mobile can get any better, but really, all it takes...
Currently, World Goth Day.
Oh boy.
I think Kim Kardashian was seen drinking this brand. I don't know for sure. Don't really care. It's a drink combo. Let's go.
Another drink combo?
I'm gonna pour some out for the dead goth homies on the chair. We're good on
Why?
that. Cheers.
Why did you do that?
And that Kentucky Bourbon Black is like slightly stronger than Jack Daniels. Let's validate our parking. Divosia. Look at that pour action. That is sexy.
Let's validate our parking.
You know what time it is, baby. It's
Ah.
World Goth Day. Josh is coming out, and we're going to get a nice insight and look into his new trailer. You can see he's already
Here we
not
go,
going to take
baby.
care of it. Surprise, surprise. He has a dedicated smoke room. It seems like there was a conspiracy theory that... There was a theory out there that Josh actually was living in like a group home with people, and that's why he was like cornered into one particular space. But it seems like he's on his own, and it's mostly Clint's discretion telling him what to do and what not to do. But Josh is already over here pouring drinks onto his chair. You already know this space is going to turn into an absolute pigsty almost instantly. And we'll see once we get to the food hack that, yeah, he's putting some stuff around the room, and it's going to get cluttered very fast. But I'm glad that we're seeing more of this trailer. I feel like he's going to be a little bit more secretive in terms of showing things, but I'm going to point out some interesting things that are going on. And, you know, let's just down a nice little drinky poo for all of us, because it's World Goth Day, baby. And all our goths out there and sexy goth girls. Ooh, yeah. You think he sent a love note to Queen Cobra? You think she's getting
Queen
something?
Cobra, oh no, naked and laughing.
Let's get into the food hack.
Roasted garlic mashed potatoes from the Idahoan company. Some whole milk.
YouTube.
I stuck it in the freezer when it was ice cold and unthawed it. So
In the freezer?
Ice chunks in it.
Yummy ice chunks.
Thing. And apparently the thing is not opened. With the easy squeeze bottle for convenience and
God, I'm just gonna say it again, dude. How do you fuck up mashed potatoes this bad? Josh Moore looks more and more like a bowling ball with a peanut head with each beer and dust huff. Oh God. 90 per bourbon and 1,200 milligrams of caffeine. What could possibly go wrong? Oof. Cub's brain is so fried off Duster only a week into the trailer arc that I don't think this will be a very long arc before I get into the Mork arc tubes. Cheerbug's getting drunk tonight. That's what's up. No way on God's good green earth has he got a tumble dryer. He'd burn the place down after having it for 8 hours straight. Ugh. Yeah, I don't know if I can keep up with LTG. Let's see if this is drink my urine.
Ugh, when is my allergy spray gonna kick in?
You need Astapro.
Astapro?
It's faster, bro. 8 times faster than...
Shit ain't changed, bro. I don't piss in toilets. I never will. I'm sorry, but I'm still pissing in bottles, guys. Since you're obsessed with me urinating in bottles, yes, to answer your question, yes, I still fucking piss in bottles. Alright? When I'm done with this one, I'll be pissing in this one too, motherfuckers. Now,
is that something?
Imagine drinking my fucking urine. I could probably sell this piss.
To the comments. Dale, I'm the cleanest person you'll ever meet. Dale again. One of these days, gonna accidentally drink the wrong bottle. Eagerly waiting for the drink from the wrong bottle arc. Almost 40 and he still isn't potty trained. I've never seen anybody so proud of not using the toilet. And the fact that he owns it like some type of trophy is somewhat admirable. Bro raised that shit up with no shame. Yep. Why does he fill the goddamn bottle? That's what I'm saying. I don't care how careful or clean he thinks he is with that bottle. The fact that he's comfortable holding it, putting it near his face, and then drinking out of another bottle without washing his hands is fucking disgusting. Well, yeah, of course. The GNC tyrant doesn't wipe. He also believes toilet paper spreads E. coli somehow, so he just hops in the shower and makes dookie curtains. Ew. Cornstar is making a bag off of money from Dale's many what the fuck moments. Moreover, the beauty of this is that Clown can no longer flag channels because he's banned. Oh shit. That's funny. That is funny. Alright guys, I'm going to end the stream here for now. Might be on a little bit later, maybe in like about an hour or two. Play a little bit of games and then call it a night for there. But yeah, I'll